This production of Cats humanizes the animal. We wear no whiskers, we wear no ears, we wear no fur per se. All of our fur is faux and fashionable. But it's as if the original Cats had gone through a dissection. We opened up the animal, discovered some organs there, reconnected them, made them breathe differently.
And James, what would you say? Is this just a revival?
Simply put, what Cats does is show that our age is not a barrier. Ageism is.
I think
Chastity?
I think it's a revolution, it's a reintroduction. I think it also shows people a free world. And when you see a free world, you begin to fight for one. And because it's reimagined in a community of disenfranchised people who did more with less, it's showing that you can be free, and it humanizes us, especially in these times where they're trying to make trans and LGBT people, LGBT Campbell soup, whatever how you say it, how you know how Julia says it.
Wait, how does she say it?
LGBTQIA lesbian soup.
What was the end? Lesbian what?
Soup. You know, look, like vegetable soup, you have all these. See, even sitting here, it is one thing that to be understood about Cats. It is the merging of Broadway and Ballroom. That's one view. It's Britain and America. That's another view. It's transatlantic. That's another view, because what I say transatlantic, I could also say the Middle Passage, and everybody understand exactly what I mean. I don't want to appear abrupt, but I'm not going to forget my culture, tradition, or ancestry. That's why I purposely wear overalls, to show the world that a sharecropper, an American Indian, is now on Broadway in a role that was created 45 years ago for solely another social constructed view of race. I don't want to sit here with the anticipation of, oh, Cats and Lord Lloyd Webber and oh, Ballroom, and we finally arrived. Cats show we have always been here. Now we get to meow.
How much of you are we seeing on stage?
Like the vodka, absolute.
Because the Sydney, who plays Rum Tug Tugger, said, I thought it was really interesting, said, we're playing ourselves. That's what makes it different than maybe a more typical Broadway show. Does that track with you, Ken?
I agree. I mean, when we were doing Cats 45 years ago, we were Cats. We workshopped. We had they put us in a big pen and we played around as kittens, and we had cat-like features. We wore leotards with fur and wigs with ears and tails. You were like, it's a spectacular dance musical, and there really isn't a story. This production of it really tells a story of ballroom and celebration and transformation. And it's not a revival at all. It is truly a reimagining. It's a reimagining of the story of Cats.
And James, for those who don't know, what is Ballroom?
Ballroom is a space and a place for you to have freedom of expression and freedom of speech, for you to use your creativity and your imagination. A perfect example for the time period is when you had entertainment, right? Why wouldn't I want to be a black Mae West? Come up and see me sometimes. Why wouldn't I want to be Betty Davis, Mrs. Skeffington? I will always be beautiful to you. Why wouldn't I want to be Joan Crawford or Dorothy Dandridge or Marilyn Monroe, but I wasn't allowed because of civil liberties being denied? I wasn't given the opportunity to go to the best of schools, so I watched theater. And I learned from the Stravinsky period of turn to the light, walk against the curtain, go in the wind, pick up the teacup, yes, all that. I learned that. And how I was able to elevate it in my background so that people would truly understand. I watched soap operas. So I learned how to be vicious vixens.
I felt like I was in TCM right now. I was hoping you'd go to also to Now Voyager to the end of it, but
Oh yes, All About Eve and Lorella and Gloria, which inspires me, and the audience gets it. And I'm gonna tell you how fierce they get it. The other night I had performed, and Nicole from Sunset Boulevard came, and they announced that she was in the building.
Nicole Scherzinger.
So I went downstairs to greet her, and one of her entourage said to her and the photographer, yes, please take a picture of the two Norma Desmonds. And I turned to my cast and said, see, didn't I tell you all that at PAC? Let me have my Norma Desmond dementia moment. I understand, and that's what Gus is saying theatrically and visually, that I want to be forever young.
And Chastity, can you talk a little bit about what you're bringing to Grizabella, a role that a lot of people know?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, even going back to the question of ballroom, you know, a lot of people were shunned, especially Black and brown queer people. Their families kicked them out. Ballroom, you came together, you had a chosen family, and it was like our underground Hollywood to compete against one another. And what I'm bringing to this is I say I always carried those girls, the women from Ballroom, on my back who were silenced, who wasn't able to be their full selves at the times because we didn't know where we fit in. So with Grizabella, it's a redemption story. I feel like it's my redemption story. I feel like it's the trans women from that era who could not be them full selves. I always think of Octavia when she said she wanted to be a household name. Like, a lot of us weren't able to live in our truths because I didn't know where I fit in. I end up doing things that sometimes I regretted later on.
Like
and
playing roles.
just life, like life itself, taking me to doing things that I didn't want to do to survive. And Grizabella, she goes out into the world and then she wants to come back to her community because the world didn't accept her and embrace her for the woman that she was. And so what I bring here is I'm carrying that pain that I once had, that where I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. And I'm bringing that and those things and just trying to be embraced by my community who once elevated me and gave me flowers and are now turning my back because I felt, you know, life hit me.
And the song, because everybody waits for the song. How did you even begin to approach it? Did you feel like you were climbing a mountain, or?
It was so scary, and then you have such a song that is one of the most popular songs on Broadway. So I just wanted to do it my way. I did listen to different people, of course, like I've heard the song time and time again, but I wanted to just really express the pain and the comfort in the song, because the song it's comforting and it's pain. And so I'm just really remembering some of the things that I went through, good and bad, and the time. And I want people to remember the good times that they had when I sing the song. And that's how I approached it.
James, when André makes his entrance, the crowd goes bananas. As one of the great authorities on Ballroom, what is he doing that's making them go bananas?
He's alive.
Meaning?
Okay, here's the short version. I am God-fearing. I believe my higher power name is Jehovah. Just because I have a higher power doesn't mean that I'm religious. It means that I believe there is a God and it's not me. When I see André come out as Deuteronomy, here's the connection, not only with the audience, but with me. When I was coming up very young, I could not afford to go to Broadway and purchase a ticket to go inside the theater. I went outside the theater and heard André in The Wiz.
Because when he was starring in The Wiz, when he was The Wiz.
Yes, I was outside when they would open the door we would stand there and I would listen to him. And I would go back with the understanding of, okay, well, Jehovah, I've been on Broadway, I've heard one of us, kudos, and come back to Ballroom. And in Ballroom, with me being the master of ceremony, I allowed people, ordinary people like fill this seat, to evoke the laughter, the crying, the tearing, the emotion. He did that for so many decades. He did that with the tenacity, the ferocity, the ability, the longevity to create black excellence. I say that he's, and I both, is unapologetic, unbothered, but together we are unapologetic, unbothered, and unscathed. Because in my lifetime, I am the only one that can say I could not afford to see him, and Jehovah placed me next to him.
It's beautiful.
That was the short version.
Now you know it was gonna be.
So, I mean, so you've made a great case for kind of what binds you together, but you come from different worlds sort of aesthetically, right? To simplify it, Broadway and Ballroom. What is James doing that makes the audience so excited, André?
Junior LaBeija is completing the equation that is at the heart of Cats, the Jellicle Ball, which is one of the reasons why we are now on Broadway. The marriage here is ballroom and legacy theater. Ballroom is now in a picture frame. Ballroom came from the underground, and now it is above ground.
Do you have any mixed feelings about Ballroom being above ground now?
Well, the mixed feelings come from how I'm going to be perceived or interpreted by others. Because underground could also be called what it originally was back then, slumming. Speakeasy, after hour spot, bathtub gin. We mingled. And then it was raised to, in other states, the chitlin circuit, you know.
Right, sure.
The poor meat of the hog that we survived with greens and beans and rice. Now we're no longer in hiding. And what I mean by hiding, like right here, do you know what it is for me I'm sitting on the street where I used to sleep in the bathhouses. I'm sitting on the square where I used to say, you want to do something strange for change? I'm sitting around the corner from Show World where all of my ancestral sisters, I know them by name, the time period, that I can say, I can mention your voice as Gus. In the wave of the hand, yes. The whole presentation is, but the humanity of it is that I get to hear people, whether I'm on stage or in the booth, say, I identify with you. Yeah. I never identified with Gus before. I thought he was the most horrible part of the play, and now you are the play.
Right.
But with ballroom, it's like bittersweet because now a lot of people are doing ballroom but don't know the history of ballroom. So now that it's so, it's not underground anymore. Now you have it in every other country and everyone's doing ballroom, but they don't know the core of ballroom or why ballroom was even founded.
That's very interesting because it's permeated pop culture in such a way. A lot of people don't know that the category was coined by Junior LaBeija.
But the operative word is permeate. It was just a matter of time because it was cooking.
Cooking, yeah.
That's why it's the operative word is culture, ballroom culture.
Yeah.
Broadway now understands that it was hungry for this. Ballroom is ending the drought
Right.
that was on Broadway.
Yeah.
Because this, even the way it is presented in the Broadhurst Theater, is just a minuscule part of what the tip of the iceberg. Right?
I love when you say that the drought, the land was parched.
The land was parched.
Yeah.
There was a famine. But underneath it were these green shoots waiting to feel the sun,
Right.
waiting to say, this is the beauty, this is the nourishment you've been waiting for. And you've been in this audience, okay?
And we need to talk about the audiences. People say in live theater, the audience is an important part of the experience, but this goes to another level. Ken, you're up there, you have a vantage point. How would you describe what's going on with this audience?
Well, I'll tell you, with the half dozen or so Broadway shows that I've ever done, or shows any place performed around the world, I've never experienced an audience so hungry and so ready to give everything to us. And it's the most joyous thing I have ever experienced ever in live theater. There were 8 standing ovations on Saturday night.
Yeah.
8. Just spontaneous people jumping to their feet. And it's pretty amazing to witness that. So the audiences are very important for this show. We give them something to chew on, and then they devour it and give it right back to us.
There's a phrase that I state as Gus, and I know how to let the cat out of the bag. What we evoke in this revitalization, this restoration of cats, is that we allow the audience to share their emotions, something that we never do as humans. That is our nonverbal communication. We don't show it. And I'm gonna give you a prime example of who I adore, and I'm gonna give you the secret. OPULENCE, opulence, you own everything, everything is yours, was my homage to Queen Elizabeth II, because she never showed her emotions. If you saw the crown that bear witness, she never showed it. She could sit there with toast and cheese and tea and read you to filth and tell you time is up. That's what happens here. When Grizabella does it, when Deuteronomy does it, even when Griddlebone sit up there and go,
Right. Right.
we let you know that we are human. And thanks to Lloyd Webber. Yes, I have told him personally. He gets it.
I simply wanted to say that in my head, in my heart, in my viscera, I'm saying to the audience, I see you. And that's why they scream, because they are being visible. No hiding. We're all naked together.
And how much of André DeShields are we seeing on stage?
Well, you're not seeing 100% because I am enormous. If I gave you all of André DeShields, the theater would be on fire. And there'd be no hose to put it out. But what the audience is screaming about when Deuteronomy walks through the mylar curtain, okay, tinsel, what they are seeing is stillness, which escapes every human being. We're always in a hurry to go somewhere, to get somewhere. Deuteronomy walks out and says, be still. And that's what he is, still.
It's really a spiritual journey. I mean, you talk about a spiritual experience. I mean, these two have become my fairy godmother, fairy godfather. Like, I'm in between a world of pioneer, icon, everyone, like Ken coming from and being one of the originals, and then this person being like the start of Ballroom, and this like deity, king, like, so to get all of that for me, it's a blessing. And then to be able to show people to see in me and Grizabella ageism that people like women go through, like when you're not feeling your best and you're getting older and things are happening to your body and the patriarch is looking at you different, like, you know, they're getting to see those things, like, so they're able to identify with that. And I think that's why, like, they get to see people be free and just be themselves, and I think that's what people love about it.
I also think the reason that they cheer and scream when André comes out of that curtain is because of his body of work in the American theater.
King.
This man has done so much in the American theater. When he comes through that curtain, everybody knows this is royalty. This is the deity. This is the king of Broadway. You are the king of Broadway.
Yes.
I'm saying it right here.
My lips are sealed.
No, everyone said no.
With power comes responsibility.
It's the same way
This is
everyone
what
feels
I
when
love about
André comes in the room.
Gus.
Yes.
Gus relates to the storyline. And what I mean by the storyline of the entire musical, the entire play, when I bow from the booth to Deuteronomy, is because I see restoration. I can go back to being what I consider to be perfect. The one that has the power to do that, like my higher power does, and this is Deuteronomy. I bow before sovereignty. I bow before my restorer, my revitalization, my reconstruction, my rebirth. However, what's even more important is that the most important thing that I show that get me to all that I want, and that's what changes everything. I realize that when he says, my legs may be tottery and I may be slow, that I no longer want to be born again. I want to die with the man I've always loved.
Another service that the theater provides for audiences is we hold up a mirror and they see themselves in us. So whenever any one of us comes through that curtain, we are gorgeous. Everyone in this show is gorgeous. And they see that as their reflection. So what they feel is, oh, I'm gorgeous too.
Off of that, this is coming at a moment when, right, when trans rights and other rights are being more than debated. Is something more going on here? Is it crackling more because of the time in which this show is happening?
But I want
Absolutely.
I want to adjust what I thought you were going to say.
Go ahead.
We are discovering how beautiful we are and how everything around us is so ugly. We're not fighting any wars. We accept each other for who we are. There's no jealousy. There's no coveting.
So
You're
that's what I
not
was
doing it
saying.
from a defensive posture.
No, we're not doing it. No.
Yeah,
Chastity.
I was saying that earlier and I didn't finish, but like when we're being villainized in these times, like it humanizes us, the stage, and it shows the nuances, and it shows that we have emotions. With all that's going on around us, this is a happy place. There's so much joy here, like when people come. So I think that's what constantly brings people, and it shows people that we are not these villains. We have these emotions, you know. So I think that I always say that art is activism, and that's what's
Right.
happening.
That's right. We are not the monsters. The monster is in the White House. I know I wasn't supposed to say that.
This is just a room full of joy, and that's what people come to experience. And when they leave out the stage door, people are singing, they're crying, it's a religious experience for people. It's just about sheer joy.
I would like to say,
Please.
and I'm going to cut to the chase.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And please quote me just as I say it.
Okay.
I have always struggled my entire life with duality. I love Jehovah God, and I also accept that I am a black, openly gay, gender non-conforming individual. And what I bring to this theater as Gus is just because you consider me hopeless, in Ballroom I was never helpless.
Why does framing this in Ballroom work?
Because the place that you least expect to have a miracle is where it becomes a miracle.
I think it works because T.S. Eliot's poems, it's as if he wrote it for a queer environment. We talk about queens and just representation. There's so many variables that fit within it, that fit within Ballroom. And it just, they didn't have to change anything. They just took the characters from Cats and implemented people into it, and it works on that level, I think.
Refuge. You go to the temple, you get shot at, you go to the mosque, you get shot at, you go to church, you get shot at. Where can you go? The theater. Nobody's shooting anyone at the theater. Security.
I think that, because Ballroom being a marginalized community and feeling othered, and this being a redemption story and Ballroom having its redemption story, like making just not having so much, but being able to still be happy. And I think that's why this merges together, because it's a happy place, and Ballroom became our happy place. And there were so many people who had so much stories going on, but when you came to Ballroom, you left everything outside and you had a wonderful time. And that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, let's not let this go to waste, that you are talking to 4 contemporary icons, each of whom is black.
And
that's history making right there.
Yeah. And to follow that with this, isn't it ironic that on all levels of the human experience, we have taken a fantasy and made it a reality?
Kevin's like, yes.
Yes.
The middle one, right, the middle.
Come on, come on.